welcome Gary Walpole. Okay, good evening. It's nice to see the nights lightening up a bit, isn't it? So walking across here, it was much better than a month ago walking home. Okay, so thanks, Derek. I'll try to keep it clean as hard as I can. Okay, so I run this centre, or this service, called Leadership Management Wales. The full title of the initiative is the Centre for Excellence for Leadership and Management Skills in Wales. Now, as those of us in the public or the semi-public sector often do, we're trying to knock about an acronym when we started off, and having 7 letters or that WAG gave us, we thought, well, actually, we better rebrand this. It might save me some minutes of my life over the next few years. So we've rebranded Leadership and Management Wales. Firstly, to save me that time, but more importantly, to actually explain what we are and what we do in a very succinct format. We're a service for businesses, so it's very important that we do explain what we do. So we do what we say on the tin. And obviously, it's arweinyddiaeth a reolaeth Cymru, os siaradwyr Cymraeg ydych chi. And tonight I'm going to talk to you about that, how you can grow, develop your business through developing your people. Okay, so a little bit more about the centre. I'm based in the business school, which is obviously within the university. We've got an office in Glyndŵr at Wrexham in the north, so we've got all Wales coverage in that respect. Partners in the form of Teagal, who have offices in Newtown and in Brecon. So they're more a marketing partner. And as you can see, we're funded by WAG. That's Welsh Assembly Government, not Wives and Girlfriends, as I got asked last year at a presentation in Surrey. I wish I was funded by Wives and Girlfriends, but that's another story entirely. Okay, so website. This presentation will be on our website, the Leadership Management Wales website, which is up there, and obviously on the QM website. Okay, so an outline of what I'm going to talk about, and that'll be 3 things. Firstly, I'd like to challenge you, really, to think about what your leadership model is, what your management model is, a mental model, if you have one. We all do have one, I'd suggest, and hopefully I'll challenge you to think about what yours might be. Suggest why leadership and management development is important to businesses, and then give a couple of examples, an international one and a more local one, a business based in Wales. And obviously Elaine will come in after me and give you an example that's based here in Cardiff. And got to know Elaine through Steve Sanders, who's the finance director at Confused, who was on one of our courses in the business school a couple of years ago. So obviously Steve's a man that knows how to choose. And then I'm actually going to take something that's fairly abstract, I think, in leadership and management, or an abstract concept, and try to explain maybe one element of leadership management which I think is often neglected, and illustrate what that is by referring to an author by the name of Stephen Spear. Okay, so I'd like to quickly, though, just outline the role of Leadership Management Wales. 10 areas that we've been asked to deliver under by the Welsh Assembly Government over the next 5 years. There's 4 of them up there, but in a nutshell, we're a service for business. We won't and we don't deliver any leadership management development ourselves. So our role is actually to advise, to provide signposting, to provide a service to businesses in Wales in terms of encourage them to engage more with leadership management. And that's along the whole spectrum of that, from informal events like this, or informal learning like this, we might call it, to, at the other end, management, leadership programs on a more formal level, right up to MBAs and PhDs, which you can access here and in every other institution across Wales. Okay, research what should be done, what could be done in terms of leadership management development, and obviously present that back to businesses so they know where they can get it, but also what's appropriate for them at a point in time in their growth, at individuals' points of time in their growth. Okay, and then develop and present that to businesses predominantly through our website, but through personal contact as well. So we have people that are out and are available to come out to talk to businesses, should you wish. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. I'd like to give some background where we sit within the kind of WAG framework that they've put together, or say, super programme, WAG have pulled 37 million from ESF predominantly, and we're one part of 6 of that 37 million. We're about 3.5 over 5 years. And as you can see, there are 5 other areas. The other 5 are all delivery areas, so they're projects or programs that do actually have a delivery mechanism. So if you want to engage in leadership and management development, there are a number of mechanisms that you can engage with. That graphic is on our website, and you can click on all of those, and it'll tell you more about what the program intends to do and where and how you can access it. Okay? Good. So, I thought I'd better touch on briefly and pick up from where Derek started and emphasise why I think, but more importantly, what the literature suggests, leadership management development is important, why it's important, and obviously to say why WAG are funding us to do what we're doing, and that's promote leadership management development. Okay. Don't need to go too far further back than 2003. Porter and Kettles basically said to the UK government, the DTI, they commissioned a piece of research, large-scale report, and they said, you have to move up the value chain. Well, what does that mean? Porter and Kettles suggested you have to, or businesses in the UK, had to increase the value of their businesses, of their service and their product offering. In other words, upskill both their offering in terms of people and in terms of product. Predominantly because we couldn't compete on the unit labour costs that we were traditionally, especially manufacturing, competing on. Because obviously a lot of manufacturing had moved to the Far East and more latterly moved to other parts of Europe, Czech Republic. Okay, so they set up the Small Business Service in 2004. One of the things the Small Business Service said was actually it's some management skills and skills as a whole that is hampering growth in businesses. 2006, Leach actually explicitly linked management practices and therefore management development with our lower GVA showing. So we're less competitive, less effective, less efficient than our Northern European cousins and the US. And as Leach suggested, that was partially down to our management practices and our lesser developed management practices, let's say. Study by McKinsey. They get an awful lot of money out there, UK government, so slight envious eye, but LSE and Stanford as well looked at this one, and they basically said, after looking at 5,000 manufacturers across Europe and across the US, they basically said, well, actually, it's those that invest in modern, contemporary management practices and implementing those practices that tend to outperform their peers, and it gives them competitive advantage. And WAG emphasised this last year, or a couple of years ago actually, and said if Wales doesn't invest in its workforce, doesn't invest in its leadership and management skills, will continue to fall behind the UK. You probably all know about the GVA comparisons that are made with Wales and other parts of the UK. I'm not sure it's always entirely fair. If you compare this with, let's say, the North East, it's not too unfavourable, let's say. But usually it's the UK average that's quoted, which obviously is heavily weighted by London and the South East. Anyway, that's not what we're going to discuss tonight, although you can grab me on it later if you like.